animated Anarchy series presents the animated Showdown.
All right, what's up, everybody? It's Wednesday afternoon. We are a week before Christmas Eve. It's really snuck up on us. And this is Animated Showdown, episode 19, here part of the Animated Anarchy series. I'm, of course, Dutchie, joined as always by Money E.
What's up, people?
The spaghetti-eating Sean.
What's up?
And Wildcard Dave.
Hello.
All right, so we are here. We're happy to be with you on your lunch break, and we have five matches for you here today. We got Static Shock versus Freakazoid, Ren and Stimpy versus Family Guy, Tokyo Ghoul's going to take on Solar Opposites, the World of David the Gnome taking on New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and the main event is Spawn and One Piece. If Family Guy and One Piece in their respective matches, if they sweep, they move to that upper echelon of shows with 60 points, which also includes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mighty Ducks the Animated Series, Muppet Babies, and as of this past Saturday on Animated Hour, Power of the Magic School Bus. If Freakazoid and World of David the Gnome get swept, they will join the list of shows at negative 20 points, which right now includes Cow and Chicken, Mask, Chowder, Camp Candy, and there's a fifth one that I gotta try to remember here. That is, hold on, it's Jabberjaw. So basically, two shows have the opportunity to head in the upper echelon. Two shows have the opportunity to head into the dumpster. So if you've never seen the show before, 5 categories are going to be picked from the randomizer. We're going to find out what they were in just a second. The show wins 3-0, 30 points. 3-1 is 20. 3-2 is 10. 5 for the loser. If you get swept, you lose 10 points. And let's head on up to the randomizer now. All right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. One hit. And all right, a little different from last time, from Saturday.
Did we get merch?
Yep. Originality, fan base is back. Character development, merch, and again, closing it out is cultural impact. Now, we didn't get the cultural impact on Saturday.
Nope.
How do we feel?
Pretty good.
What's the first one again?
Originality.
I like this one better than Saturday.
All right, Dave, how do we feel?
I'm okay with it.
So, yeah, I think it's been a while since we've gotten, or at least like a show or two since we got character development.
Yeah, and originality.
You know, merch, we didn't have it all last week, but it's back.
Yep. That's the third one, right?
Merch is the fourth one. Okay. Melody. Fan base. Development. Merch. Pick. All right, so the first matchup is going to be Static Shock taking on Freakazoid. Static Shock in the division of Liam Jolly. Freakazoid in the division of Eric's brother Chris. Now, Static Shock 1-0, 10 points. Freakazoid 0-1, -10. Like I said earlier, they get swept, they head to the bottom of the barrel. We start with originality. Who had the more original concept? Sean, I'm starting with you.
I don't know. These shows were almost kind of like similar in a way, I guess. But I have Static Shock taking the originality because it was more of like the life of a teenage kid.
Yeah. And by the way, it's almost kind of like it's almost they're similar. Now, Freakazoid came out in 95. Static Shock, I believe, came out in like 2000, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So a few years apart, but it kind of, I mean, they were both part of the same TV lineup, I think, for a while.
I just meant like the superhero villain
Right.
mantra.
Yeah. All right, Dave?
This one was a little difficult because I feel like Static Shock, it hits more on the culture aspect, but I'm going Freakazoid here, just because I feel like they did a little different. They had like a little wackiness, humor to the superhero concept, and kind of did like parodies. I feel of like the superheroes, and you didn't really see that. I feel like Static Shock, we've seen teenagers become superheroes. Peter Parker, for example. So I don't think like the culture aspect was the only part that I feel like it would put it up there, but I went Freakazoid.
Okay. All right, Eric.
Freakazoid too. As David alluded to, with the it's just different from your Static Shock. We've seen Static Shock before of or the other shows like Spider-Man and Batman. No.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dave kind of also said it too, where like culturally Static Shock is kind of like original because like it's a different not necessarily, well, it's a different type of superhero because he's got like different beginnings than like some of these other guys.
Right.
But yeah, Freakazoid was more, I mean, he was a superhero, but he was also a complete idiot.
Yeah. He was more humor.
Yeah. So, all right. Freakazoid is up 1-0, so they are not getting swept. But we move on to fan base. Who had the bigger fan base, Eric?
I'm going with Static Shock because it's a superhero. It's more of that line with like the Spider-Man superhero stuff and Batman. So I think with the fan base, I think they relate to that kind of superhero cartoon.
And by the way, also DC. So he's kind of, and he did some stuff with the Justice League, and also with Batman Beyond with Terry McGinnis. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with Eric here. I went with Static Shock. I feel like it's fans really have the it's relatable and has social issues that people can connect with. The culture as well. As you alluded to, the DC universe. There's also talks about reboots possibly happening, which I would love to see, honestly, and possibly a talk of live action too. So the fan base is still relevant, I believe, to where I feel like on the opposite side, it's more of like a cult kind of, a select few really like Freakazoid like that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Sean, go ahead.
I also had Static Shock winning this one. Pretty much all the same reasons.
All right, 1-1. We move on to character development. Who had the better character development, Sean?
Oh, I also gave this a Static Shock. I just think it's more character oriented because there's so many different people involved in the story, and it's not just surrounded by one like Freakazoid is.
Yeah.
So I gave that the Static Shock.
All right, Eric.
I went with Static Shock too. You see the growth of him in all the stories. It
Virgil.
develops more.
All right, Dave.
Yeah, I agree with these guys. It has more relatable growth as well. They tackle some real issues as well, like racism and stuff along those lines. So I think that it really has some really good development in these characters.
All right, Static Shock's up 2-1. They can win it with the next category, which is merch. Sean's favorite category. And who had the better merch? Dave, you're going to start this time.
I'm going with Static Shock here. I feel like they've sold a lot more merch. I've seen quite a few different things on eBay and stuff like that, looking through it. Freakazoid, it was very short-lived, and I don't see a huge market for it.
Yeah. And by the way, Static Shock, also, you talked about a reboot. I mean, they just had a comic book a couple of years ago. So they're still selling stuff.
Yep.
All right. Sean?
Yes, I think Static Shock has it in the bag on this one. From everything I found.
Yeah.
I like the pun. Has it in the bag, you know.
Yeah. All right, Eric?
Static Shock. Research I saw, and I don't think it's even close. And plus, the DC brands behind them. So.
Okay. All right. They didn't sweep. And Freakazoid did not get swept. But Freakazoid does not get any points here. But Static Shock is going to get 20. So they win at 3-1. We move on to the next, to a show that if they sweep, they get 30 points and they move up to that upper echelon. Family Guy versus Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy is in the division of Ryan Barber. Family Guy in the division of Mike Thomas. Ren and Stimpy 1-0 with 20 points. Hold on, let me actually check that just to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's only 20, but they beat Beavis and Butthead, and Beavis and Butthead was horrible, so. Yep, so Ren and Stimpy 1-0 with 20 points. Family Guy 1-0 with 30 points after a sweep of American Dad. Originality is the first category. Who had more originality? Dave, go ahead.
I went with Ren and Stimpy here. I think it's unique visuals. It's unique humor situations. And, you know, pushing certain boundaries. I mean, both shows do push certain boundaries. But I feel like
Ren
Family
and
Guy
Stimpy was a kids show. Like, it was presented as a Nickelodeon kids show.
Yeah.
So they pushed more boundaries, I think, and got away with it, by the way, or at least for 4 seasons before they got moved to MTV.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, definitely. They push boundaries in their own ways. But I feel like Family Guy also, you know, it was a derivative, I feel, of like The Simpsons. Like they had something to kind of really go off of, where Ren and Stimpy is, you know, it's different. Like there's nothing to really compare it to.
Right. Exactly.
So I would have to give it to them.
All right, Sean?
Yeah, I also gave it to Ren and Stimpy just because Family Guy does portray so many shows, like, you know, the Flintstones, like the Simpsons.
Flintstones, Simpsons, King of the Hill.
Jetsons, King of the Hill, you know, just all those family-oriented shows that are wacky, just kind of portrayed that to be. Ren and Stimpy is just, you don't see evil mice. you know, it's completely different. And it's funny because they're like, you know, kind of crude humor mixed in with just regular funny humor. And it's just gelled real well together.
All right, Eric.
Ren and Stimpy, because Family Guy is just too much like The Simpsons and all the other shows you guys said. That Sean said.
Right. I mean, Dave said it too.
Yeah, Dave said it.
Yeah. All right. Family Guy's not going to sweep. So they missed their opportunity to head up into that top tier. But Ren and Stimpy's putting up a fight, at least for right now. Fan base is the next category. Who had the bigger fan base? And this one, to me, this one's actually a tough one because, yes, one of the. God damn it, I broke another pen. This one is. One show is still going, but I don't know if the fan base is truly there or not. But Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I gave this the Family Guy. I just think they have much of a more current following than Ren and Stimpy does.
All right, Eric.
I went Family Guy too. I just think Ren and Stimpy doesn't relate to like the Gen Zers, and it just relates more to like the millennials and Gen X generation.
Okay. All right, Dave.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with these guys. It was close for me though. I just think because it's an ongoing show that Family Guy has more fans, but I don't think it has as loyal fans.
Right.
Which almost swayed me to go to the other side. But I'm with the overall popularity of the show, I'd have to give it to Family Guy.
All right.
It was a tough one.
Yeah. 1-1. We move on to character development. I don't know if this one is as tough. Who had better character development, Eric?
Family Guy. You just see more development in that with the stories in each season. You see what's the kid's name? He develops more.
Stewie?
Yes, Stewie. So.
All right, Dave.
This one is pretty. I'm going with Family Guy here. I do see more character development between them. Like he alluded to, Stewie, you do see him. He's kind of like transitions from like a typical like villain, menacing type kid to more of like a evolving identity. And you see Peter and Brian also hit their little growth, and all of the family in that house. Ren and Stimpy, I feel like they're more static personalities. They're not a lot of growth. They're kind of the same character throughout the show.
Okay. Yep. All right, Sean.
Yeah, I had Family Guy taking this one. Like we said, the most growth you see out of any character in that show is Stewie, especially after he does succeed killing Lois in like a alternate reality that he's watching.
Yeah.
And, after that, he was kind of like off that train of just killing her and more about just being like a adventurous baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
all right.
So that's why.
All right, they're up 2-1. They can win it with this next category, which is merch. Now, this one is a little tougher because Ren and Stimpy has had a lot of merch out there. Action figures, T-shirts, other apparel, socks, pajama pants. They got the Funko Pops. They've had comic books. Family Guy, obviously, because it's still ongoing. They have a lot of merch out there. Dave, we're going to start with you.
I went with Family Guy here on the merch. Their longevity and their consistent evolving of their merchandise. So they're continuing as long as they're keeping up with the times with their merch as well. They've had billions and billions. I think 2 to 4 billion revenue across all streams. And they also have major retail stores like Walmart and Target that they're in.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge as well. So I went with Family Guy here.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I also went with Family Guy. They just have a much broader reach from their TV shows, the clothing line, and games, and yeah.
All right, Eric.
Family Guy. I mean, Ren and Stimpy does have their merch. I think it more goes with the nostalgia.
I can see that.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think more like millennials and Gen X would get that more than this current generation.
Right. All right, Family Guy's going to win at 3-1. They do not sweep, but they get 20 points, which still is not bad. So they're going to move to 50. Ren and Stimpy gets nothing. Up next, we got Tokyo Ghoul versus Solar Opposites. Tokyo Ghoul in the division of Tiffany Zell. Tokyo Ghoul 1-0, 20 points. Solar Opposites in the division of Matt P. 0-1, but 5 points. Originality is the opening category. I'm glad I'm not judging, because to me, this whole battle would have been hard.
It is.
So, with that being said, Eric, you're going to start. Originality.
This was tough, but I went with Solar Opposites. I think it's just different from I feel like Tokyo Ghoul is similar to other anime. I could be wrong here, but I went Solar Opposites.
All right. Dave.
I went with Tokyo Ghoul with its dark fantasy, psychological horror. It evolves around a world of like human eaters called ghouls that live amongst the humans hidden. And there's a guy that's like a half hybrid, human, half ghoul. And I think that's super original. It is pretty close, but I feel like Solar Opposites, I mean, I feel like it gets a little ideas from a couple different shows. But I think Tokyo Ghoul is super original.
All right. Sean, you didn't have to do this at all on Hour of Power, so we got some major making up to do. You're breaking a tie.
Yeah, I gave this to Solar Opposites. Honestly, I just think Tokyo Ghoul was just in that anime mantra of, people fighting demons and ghouls and people dying and fighting anime style. And Solar Opposites was just kind of taking that trend of Rick and Morty sci-fi, only with a larger twist that hasn't really been done. But they also made it seem like family-oriented at the same time. So,
yeah. All right. Solar Opposites is up 1-0. By the way, when Solar Opposites lost in stage 1, it was very close with Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. We might be heading into another close one. We're going to see. We're up to fan base. Who had the bigger fan base? Sean, you're going to start this time.
Tokyo Ghoul. I don't think the fan base for Solar Opposite is so limited because it's, like I said, it's like that sci-fi, wacky stuff like Rick and Morty, and not a lot of people are attracted to that style of show that's, wacky. Tokyo Ghoul, I think, just has the power of being a part of the anime culture.
All right. Eric.
I went Tokyo too. That's it. Just it's more reachable and more global.
Okay. Dave.
Yeah, I went with Tokyo Ghoul. They've sold over 47 million copies worldwide. Solar Opposites hasn't done that. So, I mean, it's definitely got a fan base.
All right. 1-1. We've seen this a lot already tonight. All right. We move on to character development. Who had better character development? And Eric, why don't you go ahead and start?
I went with Tokyo because I just felt that the stories were more developed and you can see the development in the characters.
All right. Sean?
This was a hard one, but I gave it to Solar Opposites for character development. I like the development between Corvo being so mean and angry all the time to slowly coming around to liking certain things about Earth, and the characters themselves that are put in the wall. It's just so diverse between all these different characters and how their lives are being portrayed, and they have their own little arc and stories and stuff. So I gave it to Solar Opposites.
All right. Dave, you're breaking a tie.
Yeah, I went with Tokyo Ghoul here. Its psychological depth, I feel, it has amazing depth there, which I don't think Solar Opposites reaches. Like the changing of your morality, like the main character where he's half human, half ghoul, and he has to eat human for the first time. That psychologically was destroying him, and he had to overcome that. And you see these psychological battles throughout many different characters, and they change their perspectives on different things, and they have a really good depth in this show, I believe.
All right.
For their character development.
All right. Tokyo Ghoul is up 2-1. They can win it with the next category, which is merch. And Dave, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah, like I said, Tokyo Ghoul sold like 46 million copies worldwide. It has a global popularity that Solar Opposites just doesn't have. And it also has some diverse product lines.
Right. All right, Sean?
Yeah, I gave this to Tokyo Ghoul. No comparison.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, I went Tokyo Ghoul here too. Just because it's more global and they just outsold them.
All right, Tokyo Ghoul is going to win at 3-1. They're going to get 20 points. Solar Opposite is not going to get anything. But so now we move on to the next battle. The World of David the Gnome versus the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. If the World of David the Gnome gets swept here, they move into that bottom tier of shows. And we start World of David the Gnome in the division of Mike Bianco. New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in the division of Kaylee Fox. David the Gnome, obviously, 0-1, negative 10 points. Winnie the Pooh, 0-1, but has 5 because somehow they went toe-to-toe with South Park. So, all right, we start with originality. And, Dave, we start with you.
I think Winnie the Pooh has more of an original concept. It has well-regarded stories as well. David the Gnome, I think it was derived from a book as well.
Yeah.
So it did have some source material. They both did. But I think Winnie the Pooh, its concepts were a little more original than from what were in the books and material beforehand.
All right. Sean?
Yeah, I gave this also to Winnie the Pooh. I don't know, it's just a soft approach to it as a show, and it's just, I don't know, it's goofy, it's hard to explain because there's nothing really like it, you know?
Right.
There's nothing that you can really say, oh, that reminds me of Winnie the Pooh. I think Winnie the Pooh reminds you of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Eric?
Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, as Sean said, there's like nothing that compares to Mr. Winnie the Pooh.
All right, they're up 1-0. 2 more, and then it is a sweep. We move on now to fan base.
And
Did either one of the three of you know what the hell the world of David the Gnome was before I put it in this thing?
No.
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 Nope.
All right, so I think you all just answered my question as what you're going with, but since I am contractually, I wrote the damn contract. But Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with Winnie the Pooh here. It's definitely have a significant, larger, and more widespread fan base all around. It's also marketed by Disney.
Yeah. All right, Eric.
Winnie the Pooh. Not even a question. Not even close.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. No brainer.
All right, they're one away from sweeping, and they move on to character development. Now, I don't know necessarily if... Well, first of all, in my opinion, because Winnie the Pooh isn't necessarily episodic, because it's two episodes in one, there's not really a lot of character development there, but with David the Gnome, there's not really a lot of character development there either, because David the Gnome is more of an educational program. But Dave, you shook your head, which means I'm going to you first.
Yeah, I'm going Winnie the Pooh here again. I mean, they do the exploration of inner courage, the complex relationships of their dynamic characters. They all have, like, the characters are significantly different, and how they function with each other. Definitely shows, like, you can accept people for who they are, type of deal. David the Gnome, I feel it was more static. He was a more static character. He's kind of the same way throughout the whole series.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I gave this one to Winnie the Pooh as well. For what I noticed, there isn't much development in between Winnie himself. I think he's the guy that kind of inspires the other characters' developments with kind of like giving them the peaceful insights that he do, or like seeing the errors of their ways type of stuff. So I gave it to them.
All right, Eric.
I went Winnie the Pooh too. For the very low,
get the broom out.
For the low development they have, it's obviously more than David.
All right, Winnie the Pooh is going to sweep here, so they're going to get 30 points. David the Gnome loses 10, so they're in negative 20. So now they are the sixth show to join that, I guess, non-illustrious group of negative 20. So they're going to join Cow and Chicken, Mask, Chowder, Jabberjaw, Camp Candy. I said one earlier. What?
MASH is probably the best show of those six.
I mean, if you're asking me, they are, yeah. Let's see what else.
At least MASH is that's a pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because there's more. Or Jabberjaw. So it's Cow and Chicken, Mask, Chowder, Jabberjaw, Camp Candy, and now David the Gnome. So that's six that are in that group right now of negative 20. Group could get bigger, and all these shows could end up getting worse. Now we move on to the main event. It is Spawn and One Piece. And Dave, something big can happen here. I know you're expecting it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, lay the groundwork for it anyway. If One Piece sweeps Spawn, then they move into that upper echelon of shows that are up at the top of the board with 60 points. And in Dave's mind, it's like, well, of course it's gonna, like, he's just like, homie, please. It's got it's gotta get up there. It's gotta go through Spawn to do so. Spawn in the division of Mark McGee, One Piece in the division of Mark Ritchie. And And
The Battle
we
of the
start.
Marks.
Yeah. There's actually a story about the two of them that I'm not going to tell on air. But we start with originality. And Sean, we're going to start with you.
Alrighty. I gave this one to Spawn, actually. I think it was just something completely different than what you would see from like I think what DC, right?
Yeah. Or no, because this was because this wasn't DC. This was McFarlane.
Oh, okay. Either way, I think Spawn was just something so out of the blue and not normal that it made it more original for me. I think One Piece was just, again, an anime hype train.
No,
sorry, Dave.
Please.
All right. Well, hold on. You're up next.
Okay. I picked One Piece here. It's got a vast, unique world building. You got creative abilities and character designs. They have a ton of characters throughout there. You got the plot and the foreshadowing that are pretty original, I believe. I feel like Spawn, you got the familiar trope of a resurrected soldier from hell, and he's fighting a war between heaven and hell. I feel like there's quite a few shows like that. So I feel like One Piece is more original. I mean, really, do you hear a lot of shows or cartoons or animes about pirates with special abilities fighting, looking for the One Piece? No, you don't.
Well, I mean, there is another show about pirates that is in this series. I mean, it's nothing like what One Piece is. But yes, there is another show about pirates. I just figured I'd throw that out there. Eric, you're breaking the tie.
I'm going One Piece here. I just think it's one of the OGs, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's one of the big three. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's
show
one of the biggest. It's one of the big three of anime. So
I'm just kidding.
This is one of the ones that like I have not been a fan so far of Naruto or of Bleach. I have been a fan of One Piece. The last episode I just watched, so it kind of just makes me think that Luffy can be dumb.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But so far, I think of the big three, I actually think One Piece is the best. But that's just me. But all right, One Piece is up 1-0. Fan base is the next category. Eric, you're starting.
Yeah, I think it's One Piece. As I said just a second ago, because it's one of the OGs. It has more of a global impact and not to spoil cultural impact, but yeah, it just more reachable. So,
all right, Sean.
Community,
So I'm only going to put this the way I'm going to put this to simply troll Dave, but regrettably, I am picking One Piece. I don't know why anybody really likes that show. It's not the greatest show in the world, but I have to admit that the fan base is there over Spawn.
You didn't like it either, Sean?
You're right. The greatest one made was Naruto.
I'm simply just trolling Dave on purpose. I actually do like One Piece.
I mean, the funny thing is that we can't actually tell what his face. I mean, first of all, I could picture his face, and that's only because for a lot of people that do not know, I have known Sean since he was a baby.
He's got an evil grin on his face right now.
So I basically know. I mean, there are some times.
Yep, that one.
But it's just like I could just tell, even when I'm not looking at Sean, like I can almost tell what the look on his face is. Just because I've known him for so long. All right, Dave, finish out the category.
Yeah, One Piece. It's got a vast fan base. It's huge. Its global reach is up there with some of the best, and it's one of the best-selling manga series of all time.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So Another thing, and I kind of brought this up to you guys the other day. I brought up the idea. After stage 2 is done, I'm going to start doing power rankings, which, by the way, is going to suck because it's 244 shows I got to rank. But
Oh, wow, yeah.
it just to like kind of like show, okay, you know, who actually does well. And I'll say this right now, unless another show that we do at some point has a far better victory of the shows that are up at the top echelon right now. If One Piece gets the sweep here, One Piece would be at the top of my power rankings when I do them.
When you said power rank, because I thought you meant you're going to power rank the contestants.
No, I'm going to do the shows.
Can I go first on the next category?
Can I? Maybe I'll do contestants.
I mean, yeah, either or. But yeah, Dave, you can definitely go next. So, but just let me just set it up here. One Piece is one away from a sweep. So Spawn would then move back to 0 points because they got that close one over Claymore. But right now it's not looking good. Character development is the category. You're off, soldier.
All right, I'm giving this one to Spawn, because I feel like the One Piece characters, they're very linear development and their personality. They are kind of static characters that just get stronger. I feel like Spawn, he undergoes more fundamental change, where Elsaman undergoes like being a government assassin to a hellspawn, struggling with his identity and his purpose, and so I feel like Spawn really takes this one.
All right. Well, I'm shocked.
I am too.
But again, it's being honest.
Yep.
All right. Sean, why don't you go next?
I gave this one to One Piece. I like the story better between the characters and how they grow, how they act. I think the voice actors really help do that too.
Okay. Oh, crap.
It's not going to be a sweep.
It's not going to be a sweep?
No sweep.
No, I persuaded him.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he did persuade me. If the one guy that is an anime.
Yeah, but that's also because he's being honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
He did persuade me. Good argument. I mean, Sean had a good argument too, so I'll just say that.
All right, but you're going to go Spawn?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so One Piece will not be number 1 in my power rankings, but that's because I believe in power rankings. I know how like certain people, like when they do their NFL power rankings, it's like, oh, who's the best? I determine what like the best shows to me. Like I kind of determine them by record right now.
Fair enough.
But we move on to merch. Now here's where it gets interesting because Spawn figures. There's a lot of them. Now, are they? And there is some value to them because they have some pretty cool looking figures. So does One Piece, though. And by the way, those are still being sold in stores. But both shows have a vast variety of merch. And Sean, you're going to start.
I gave this one to Spawn. I just think their merch was cooler, more, I don't know how to put it, more diverse, I guess.
Okay.
You still with the trolling, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
We have a fan base watching.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
I'm going One Piece. The research I did, it just hits more globally and.
Listen here, Chaos. Bye.
This is pretty superior in merchandise sales.
certain people really want their camera time. All right, Dave, go ahead.
I'm going with One Piece here. 21 billion in franchise revenue estimated to Spawn's 2 billion estimated. You got the manga sales, which are like nearly 600 million copies sold worldwide to Spawn's 120 million. One Piece is a global powerhouse in merch sales. I mean, you go online, there's tons of merch, and some of it's expensive, some of it's cheap. You also got different countries buying One Piece stuff. Like recently, Mexico was having like a little revolution type deal, and they're waving the One Piece flag over there. You can look that up as well. I was like, why are they waving the One Piece flag? But because pirate. So I'm going with One Piece here. Everything around the board. They just have a lot better merch sales and a lot much more merchandise to get at.
All right. So they didn't get the sweep, but they got the win. So a win is a win still. So they're going to get 20 points out of it. Spawn's not going to lose anything, but they're not going to gain anything either. So it's a 3-1. So Family Guy and Spawn, or no, Family Guy and One Piece both, they were not able to jump up to that, upper echelon. World of David the Gnome was able to fall and hard. But all right, there are no shows next weekend. So no show on Saturday for Animated Hour of Power. Next Wednesday is Christmas Eve, so we're not going to do a show for Animated Showdown, but we will be back the following week. We are going to resume, so we're going to get a little bit of a Christmas break here.
New Year's Eve, we'll have a show.
Yeah.
It'll be
A couple days after Christmas, we'll be back.
Yep.
But, all right. So, but what will be next, episode 20 of Animated Hour of Power is going to be Hong Kong Phooey versus the Huckleberry Hound Show. Vinland Saga versus JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Alf, the Animated Series versus Gilligan's Planet. Alf, the Animated Series, also actually has the opportunity to get into that upper echelon of shows because they have 30 points right now.
Okay.
And, of course, James Bond Jr. versus Cops is going to be the main event. Animated Showdown's episode 20 is going to be as follows. Space Ghost versus Josie and the Pussycats.
God, I gotta watch that show again.
By the way, both shows got swept in stage 1. So one of those shows is headed to the cellar. Well, probably. Then we're also going to have Denver the Last Dinosaur versus Gem and the Holograms. Gem and the Holograms actually has the opportunity to get into that upper echelon. The look on Dave's face makes me think that he is going to try to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, Denver the Last Dinosaur put up a fight against Bleat.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. If they can put up a fight against Bleach but then get swept by Gem and the Holograms, we got a problem.
Mhm.
All right.
But it depends on categories, though.
Yeah. So Cleveland Show versus Futurama, also on that episode. 16 is going to face Braceface. 16 also has the opportunity to get up in that upper echelon. And then the main event is Dragon Ball Z Kai versus Invincible.
Ooh.
Dragon Ball Z Kai also has that opportunity to climb up into the upper echelon, I believe, as well, because I believe they also have 30 points themselves. Or no, they only have 20, so I misspoke there. But I got to look and see. Vinland Saga might be in the territory where they could possibly...
It's a good show.
Or no, Vinland Saga only has 20 points. So a lot of shows still to go here that can either go up to the top or go all the way down to the bottom. But make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Join the When Tunes Combine Facebook group, facebook.com/group/When Tunes Combine. Check out Eric's Unscripted Sports Show on YouTube.
Yep.
Join that or subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years podcast on YouTube. You'll find Sean on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube at TCAX Reaper. You'll find our beloved wildcard Dave on Twitch at TCX Godsend 95. Also, join the Stabcast or subscribe to the Stabcast on YouTube with Dangle and Mindy, the Dizzle 97 YouTube and Twitch with Dangle. And we will see everybody in a couple weeks. Everybody have a safe and happy holiday. And we'll see everybody in a couple weeks.
Peace.